What's going on, Broncos country? Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Moose, and it's great to have you in on today's live show. Oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about. The Broncos, of course, now being 1-0 in the preseason after their win against the San Francisco 49ers. We're back at practice today. Unfortunately, some negative things to talk about. Not a great showing from Bo Nix and the starters once again. So before we get into everything and we kind of break down what the show's going to look like, I got a question for you. What's your worry level right now on Bo Nix and the offensive starters? I'll kind of combine the package deal together. I'm not too worried about it right now. Although there have been some negatives, I would say my worry level is about a 2 or a 3. I'm not very worried. I think it is telling that there is some rust going on right now, especially considering, not only have you had a kind of a choppy first preseason game, but now having a first practice and struggling once again. But am I worried that they're not going to be ready for week 1 against the Titans? At this point, not at all. I'm not worried about it. But I do want to hear your answer. I'm going to give some shout-outs. Scale it 1 to 10 for me. 1 being very, very low on the worried scale, not worried at all. And 10 being like, I'm panicking, I'm freaking out. Let's take a look. Costin's, good to see you, my guy. He says, go Broncos. Ty, what's up, dude? Good to see you, man. Danny, what's up, my guy? Good to see you, too. Fan favorite of the show. Awesome. Archie says 1 because we got the GOAT Stidham, just in case. We're going to talk a little bit about Jarrett Stidham today because he was another bright spot. He balled out at practice yet again after a near-perfect delivery in that preseason game. Danny says worried level 5. I'll say this. I'm glad we're starting with the Titans. It's funny. Boss Man Jay is in the chat. He says 1. He not worried about it whatsoever. Joshua Kirby, good to see you, my guy. He says 3 or 4. Dakota, good to see you, my friend. He says, let's go, boys. We got 35 people in the building right now. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up icon. Help grow the stream today because we got a lot of Broncos stuff to talk about. Got a lot of Broncos stuff to talk about. Danny, it is great to see you, my friend. I saw you getting down in the chat down below. We disagree on some things every now and then, Danny Caudle. But you know what? I'll tell you this. You are entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to mine, and that's what makes football great, is that we can disagree but still have a massive amount of respect for each other. And, of course, we like the same team. Mr. Memester. Moose. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. John. The Broncos offense will get better and more prepared before the season begins. Go Broncos. Bossman Jay says the Broncos had no offensive game plan, but the 49ers schemed for the playoffs. He did say that. The 49ers definitely had a game plan, and they tried to execute it to perfection. Let's try and get 19 likes right now, 38 people watching. Let's get about 50% before we get on with the very next thing. Ty, good to see you, my guy. Chase says 1, not worried about it. Nathaniel saying 1, not worried about it. Make sure you hit that thumbs up icon. Costin says this is our year. Is it Costin or Costin? Am I getting that right? Either way. All right. I do want to give a major shout out to a couple of awesome people. John Emery, who won our Bo Nix jersey, because he was our winner for their last stream against the 49ers. Broncos Unchained and Bossman Jay, those guys are the exact same thing. So I do have to extend the next place because they are the same person, that being Bossman Jay's wife. So those were our top 3 for our 49ers live stream fans. Here's why I'm bringing that up. If you are a top 3 fan every single time we go live, and that includes today's show, you're going to be entered in to win a John Elway laser autographed jersey. So it is his signature. He didn't specifically sign this one jersey. But I can tell you this. If you were to frame this up in your office, in your living room, in your man cave, wherever you frame it, you can't tell. And it is John Elway's signature. It is 100% his authentic signature, just lasered on there to make it look a little bit more awesome. So, the best way to make sure that you become a top fan on today's stream, if you see those little, what do you call them? Crowns? That's the word I'm looking for. Words are hard for me today, Dylan. If you super chat, you will skyrocket up to the top 3. The top 3 will be entered in to win this John Elway jersey at the very end of the month. Our top 3 right now, John, Bossman Jay, and Bossman Jay's wife. So those are the 3 that are in right now, but every stream is different. So if you want to super chat and skyrocket up the boards today, that is how you get entered to win. Otherwise, you can keep on spamming those comments, and that will also help you gain XP. But I will warn you, it takes a long time and a lot of comments to drive up your XP. So here's what it looks like in case you're new to the channel and you've never seen this before. I realize the OGs of this channel, you've seen this a bunch. But essentially, YouTube launched this brand new top fan feature to drive more engagement. How does it work? If you super chat, you skyrocket up the XP numbers. So the YouTube top fans of today's show will be entered in to win a John Elway jersey. But remember, like I said, the best chance for you to get in to win that jersey is to super chat. So we greatly appreciate everything that you guys would give out. That's how it works. Let's take a look at our top fans so far. We actually have some new names at the very top. Joshua Kirby's in at number 1. Ryan's at number 1. Joshua Kirby's at number 2. And then we've got Archie Blue coming in at number 3. So far, if the stream were to end right now, those 3 would be entered to win our John Elway jersey. But like I said, best way to do that, slap in a little super chat. And speaking of super chats, we got a DB4L Bossman J. Bang! Spam those Bossmans down in the chat. He is lighting it up, and we are knocking them down so far here on the Broncos Breakdown, getting it done real early. I got producer Dylan on the 1s and 2s today. That's a way to fire it up. What do you say, Dylan? Join everyone. Say hello. Excuse me.
I mean, there's no better way to start it.
You're absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct. I'll tell you what. Because that made me feel so good, Dilly, I'm a man who likes to make a deal from time to time. I have a Happy Dad right here that I was going to save for about halfway through the show to crack open and sip and have a beer with you guys. However, if somebody else bangs on today's show, if we get one more bang, I'm going to beer bong it. I'm beer bonging it. I'm feeling good. I'm telling you what, I'm recovered from the weekend. I lost my voice for a long time. I'm back now. Let's do it. One more bang, and I'm beer bonging that thing. What do you say? What do you say? Huh? God, I'm feeling good. There it is. This one will go with my PS2 and Demaryius Thomas signed jerseys in my Broncos cave. You heard it here first, folks. He's trying to win this like right now. He is making sure that he wins this John Elway signed jersey. And I've corresponded with Bossman Jay. He's a diehard Broncos fan. He loves this team, and he loves that jersey, and he loves Bo Nix. He can't wait for 2025. So if you guys want to catch up and become a top 3 fan, all you got to do, try to catch up to Mr. Bossman Jay. Appreciate it, sir. Congratulations on the baby once again. Now, Dilly, let's start talking about why they came into today's show. 10 minutes has gone by. Let's talk about what's on the show today. Because we got to talk about Broncos football. It's not just about John Elway jersey giveaways and Bo Nix jersey giveaways, which, by the way, John, speaking of which, if he's in the chat right now, I just got his email this morning. I don't know why it took so long to come in, but I got his email. His jersey will be ordered today. All right. Let's talk about what we got. Oh, that's incorrect. That's my fault. the Broncos offense did not pick back up today. That's my bad, Dylan. If you want to quickly read only that and say Broncos offense struggles, that would be great. Thank you so much. That's my fault. My apologies. The Broncos offense definitely struggled today. There we go. That's much better. First stringers for sure. Second stringers, including Jarrett Stidham, were outstanding again today. One of the first-team players, a couple of the first-team players actually were really good. Evan Engram had a great day. Troy Franklin, of course, had another great day. It seems like every practice he has a highlight play. This time was a 50-yard bomb, which we'll get into here in just a little bit. But I do have to talk about what went on during training camp practice today. No pads went on with the Broncos today, so it was a little bit of a lighter work day. Tomorrow they've got pads and then joint practice with the Cardinals on Thursday. Then we're going to talk about some cut candidates after the 49ers game. I've highlighted 5 Denver Broncos that you need to know that I believe are in danger of getting cut after the first preseason game. Then, of course, we're going to do a mailbag. Everything that you ask about the Denver Broncos. So make sure you either super chat or you use hashtag Broncos to get featured on the show. Once that happens, Dylan will make sure that he highlights your comment, throws it up during our mailbag. You guys know how it works, and we will answer those questions at the very end of today's live stream. Couple of questions here. Boss Man Jay saying, keep Knicks tied, 20 with Darnold. Yes, if you didn't see the video that I pulled out a little bit earlier today, Mike Sando, who is a writer for The Athletic, every single year comes out with this massive list of quarterback tier rankings. Every year he does this. And he basically gets 50 different members of NFL executives. So we're talking GMs, ex-GMs, assistant GMs, scouts, coaches, coordinators, all of the higher-ups in the NFL for each team. He gets a bunch of them together and does an anonymous survey because, of course, they're anonymous. And they all rank quarterbacks. That's what the entire list is. He does it by tier. So the first tier are the best, obviously the superstars. The second one is obviously just below that, the guys that are like pretty good, franchise quarterbacks, but not quite yet at the level of some of the superstars. The third tier players are kind of like the middle tier average starting quarterbacks plus guys that still need to prove themselves. A lot of the younger quarterbacks like Bo Nix are in this category. Tier 4 are the guys that are rookies usually, and then Tier 5 are the guys that just suck. That's basically it. That's basically it. Danny's saying, Moose, do you anticipate the starters getting reps in all 3 preseason games? I'm going to the Saints game next week and hope to see the starters, especially R.J. Harvey. You know what? I'll answer that question in the mailbag. It's a really good question, Danny. Thank you so much. I'm going to sip on a little water here. Sweet dollar tea. Dylan, how have you been? How was your first preseason week? Are you glad football's back?
I'm glad football's back. It feels like the whole offseason, it took forever. Mm-hmm. But now we're at the point where we're finally here. Football is finally back in motion, and it's finally that time of the year again.
I will say this. For everybody that's panicking right now about Bo Nix, let's all just take a deep breath. In and out. It's all going to be okay. This happens frequently, right? Remember, the Broncos up until Saturday had not played in an actual game since January. We are talking 5 months. No, 7 months. My math sucks. 7 months of no football. And we expect that he's going to come out and be perfect. Now I realize Jarrett Stidham came out and looked perfect. But remember, Jarrett Stidham was doing it against 4th and 5th string players. We're talking about guys that aren't going to make the team for the 49ers. So I think we tend to do this as fans, me included. I have this tendency from time to time, I'm not going to lie, where I get a little bit like, uh-oh, sky's falling. We saw one game, and we didn't even see a full game. It was one quarter. And we all of a sudden are like, nope, we're done. I think we can all just take a breath.
I think it's just all the overreactions. Like, we haven't seen
the overreactions. That's right.
And the whole offseason really get to practice or play out there on the field. And now that we're at this point where everything's public and you can see everything again, now people are starting to have opinions. And look, preseason doesn't tell you anything. The regular season, week 1, that's when we're really going to
That's when we have to start. Yeah, that's when we have to start. Because remember, only 17 games in the NFL. Every game matters. This isn't the NBA where you got 82 regular season games, or the MLB where you can lose 12 in a row in April and still make the playoffs, right? Like, football gets 17 weeks. Every game matters. Do some games matter more than others? Sure. But every game absolutely matters. All right, we got 64 people in the building right now. I'm sure they want to hear us talk some Broncos football, so let's do it. Let's talk about what went on during the Denver Broncos training camp practice today in no pads and how the offense struggled. The Broncos were back on the field today for training camp practice, albeit in no pads, so a little bit of a lighter day in terms of workload. However, there are still some major takeaways that we have to talk about. Welcome in Broncos country to the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Trace Moustakas, but you can call me Moose. Now, before I get into what happened today at Broncos training camp practice, during our last live stream against the 49ers, we gained 404 subscribers. That's amazing. But YouTube does this thing where they call it the purge, and they basically get all of the bot accounts and the inactive accounts, and they just throw them away in the trash. So then we lost 224 out of those 404. If you could do me a huge favor, help us gain some back that we lost during the purge. If you love what we do and you love Denver Broncos football, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. Let's talk about the major takeaways so far. The first string starting offense started off slow again. In fact, it was not a great day, according to a lot of different Denver Broncos media members. Bo Nix kind of struggled. The first team offense as a whole struggled. So this isn't just a Bo problem. So here's what Zach Stevens had to say about the whole thing. Today's practice for Bo Nix and the Broncos starting pass game was tough. Broncos pass defense looked very stout. Pressure was on Bo often. And remember, this is the best pass rush in the NFL. So Bo is going up against this every week in practice. It's kind of comes with the territory if you're playing a stout defense like the Denver Broncos, that there might be some struggles. However, we did see Bo struggle and the offense struggle against the 49ers. And now, the next practice, another tough day. So back-to-back tough practices, I'm sure, has a lot of Broncos fans wondering what's going on. Now, there was at least one or a couple of highlights, I should say. I don't want to say it was all bad, because then right after this, the final period of play, and they do periods now in these joint practices and, training camp practices, so it's weird. Bo had 3 good completions to Troy Franklin, Adam Troutman, and Marvin Mims to get the team in field goal range. That's good. But then he threw an interception deep to Jaquan McMillan to end the practice. That's not so good. However, back earlier on in the day, he had a couple of highlight plays. Bo Nix connected with Cortland Sutton for a 15-yard gain with Pat Surtain blanketed over him in 7-on-7 coverage. No idea how it got through. So it wasn't a horrible day in terms of start to finish. There might have been an encapsulation of, it was a rough day for them, but highlighted by brief moments of pretty decentness. So here's what I will say. The main issue right now is that the Broncos' first-string offense starts slow. And they're aware that they started slow, not only in today's practice, but against the 49ers. They've got to pick it up, and that's okay. It's okay that it starts slow right now. As long as this doesn't translate into week 1 against the Tennessee Titans, none of it matters. So what were the problem areas? Well, I'll tell you this. The offensive line, specifically in that 49ers game, folded under pressure. The 49ers blitzed and blitzed often, and the Broncos had no answer for it. Bo was under pressure all game long, at least for the time that he was in. And, of course, he did look jumpy inside the pocket. Never quite got his feet set. Never really felt like he, would take that 3-step drop and then shuffle his momentum forward and then let it rip. His processing was good, but it never really looked quite as smooth as you wanted it to look. And, of course, the run game really never got going. Granted, you didn't see J.K. Dobbins very much. So, I mean, you're not going to get a lot in terms of that. I mean, R.J. Harvey came out, but it was his first game. And then you put in, of course, all the other backups. So the offensive run game for the starters never really got going. Bo looked jumpy, and the offensive line folded under pressure. I need to see the full lineup before making any judgments. Right? The only thing I can go off is delivering you guys the news. And the news right now is that the first-team offense is struggling. But when we see the full lineup, I'm talking every single starter out there for multiple drives, multiple reps, getting a full quarter of play in, including the likes of J.K. Dobbins, then I can give you a full assessment of what I'm seeing. Because as of right now, it's picking and choosing at different bits of information. That's really where we're at right now. So don't panic. There's nothing to be scared about. But it is worth noting that right now, things are a little choppy. So what's your concern level? Let me know in the comment section down below. Scale it 1 to 10 for me. I'm going to say it's a 2 or a 3 right now for me. I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to pretend like there isn't anything wrong, but I also don't want to be the one that's like, oh my God, the sky is falling, because it isn't. So let me know in the comment section down below. Let's go to our second practice takeaway. Jarrett Stidham lighting it up. Dude has been a baller, a stud, especially with the backups. He was damn near perfect against the 49ers. And today, back-to-back multiple touchdown passes in the red zone. Looking sweet. And I love to see it. Also highlighted by an absolute bomb to Troy Franklin, a 50-yard bomb for a touchdown as well. So Jarrett Stidham seems to be understanding his place right now in this second-string offense as a backup, and he is lighting it up. Now, good news. Stidham had the highest quarterback rating in preseason week 1 of any quarterback in the NFL, 144. By the way, perfect is what, 158.7? That's like literally 100% perfect. So he was damn near there, which is great. The next highest, by the way, in week 1 was Shedeur Sanders, funny enough, who had a 106.8. So Stidham was leagues above Shedeur. Now, another good thing to take away, and something that Broncos fans should know, there's no quarterback competition. Come on. Bo's going to be your starter week 1. This shouldn't have to be said. But it is nice to know that Stidham is a reliable option in case of emergency. And when I say emergency, I'm mostly talking about injury. I don't see a world where Bo Nix is out of the quarterback 1 race unless he goes in that first game and the first half throws 4 picks. Like, I just don't see that happening. And Stidham faced 3rd, 4th, and 5th string players against the 49ers. Jarrett Stidham is a veteran quarterback. He's been in this league for quite some time. He should be carving up those guys. It's part of your job. And while I can give him credit and say, yes, you were playing great, I think it's also worth mentioning he's playing against practice squad players, or at least he was. The Broncos defense, a lot better. So the fact that he went out and carved him up today, that's actually more impressive to me, because the Broncos defense, even the depth players, are really, really good. So Jarrett Stidham definitely continuing his hot streak. Tip of the cap to you, my friend. Evan Engram also got involved a bunch today. Another touchdown pass from Jarrett Stidham to Evan Engram. But I kind of feel like he didn't really do much against the 49ers. Now, he didn't play that much either. However, I will say this. It feels good to know that your free agent tight end that you picked up and who you have been kind of focusing as a focal point in your offense is starting to make some plays. In fact, here's what it looked like. And a fingertip touchdown catch by Evan Engram from Jarrett Stidham, Caught the ball in the middle of the field, about 25 yards out, fully extended, great catch, and Stidham, of course, continuing to ball. So that's good news. No receptions against the 49ers. I need to see him play better and get more reps against the Cardinals. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to play him for 2 quarters. But let's get him the ball. This, by the way, this relationship between him and Bo is crucial, especially for Bo. Everybody says constantly, myself included, a tight end is a quarterback's best friend. Well, last year, Bo Nix didn't really have the tight ends that he was looking for. It was one of the worst rooms in the NFL. So, having this relationship and exploiting this relationship and starting to pick it up is going to be essential for his development in 2025. I'm going to get on to my next couple of takeaways. But first, guys, the Bo Nix jerseys are for sale right now. All you got to do is go to chatsports.com/Nix jersey. If you didn't win one this last preseason game, that's fine. You can still buy one in any color that you want. All you have to do is use the link that I've put in the comments and description of today's video. Chatsports.com/Nix jersey. It really is that simple. Use that link and start shopping today. All right, fourth takeaway. Defense shines again. What else is new at this point? This defense is spectacular. I mean, they really showed against the 49ers. Only allowed 7 points, and that was in the first quarter. Then it was a shutout after all of that, which was great. And today's best defensive standouts at practice, Jonathan Cooper and Jaquan McMillan. Cooper had 2 highlight plays, one for a sack, one for a tackle for loss. And Jaquan McMillan had that really nice pick at the very end on Bo Nix. And the ball just kind of seems to find Jaquan McMillan all the time, doesn't he? He's kind of feeling like a ball magnet recently. I also want to make sure that this is noted as well. This defense is going to set up the offense for success. If you think about it, when you force turnovers and you can flip that field like this as a really good defense and force punts, you are absolutely going to make sure that your offense is in the best position to succeed. A great defense complements a great offense. That's how it works. That's why they say defense wins championships, right? Offense is flash. Offense feels great. Offense is choreography. Defense, it's energy, motivation, tides turning. I mean, it's like the momentum shift. That's what great defense does. So I do think this defense is going to help set up great opportunities for this offense. Just a quick little breakwater timeout before we get to our last one. If you like the Broncos defense against the 49ers, like today's video, and like this stream if you're watching during our live show. It helps let me know that you are serious and intent about learning Broncos football, and it helps grow the channel. So make sure you hit that thumbs up icon. Our last practice takeaway, I'm sure you saw a lot of this. Nik Bonitto limping off the field against the 49ers. Everyone was like, oh, is this cause for panic? He didn't practice today, but he's just fine. Sean Payton actually said that he's dealing with a minor foot issue, but he should be back on the practice field very soon. So I'm not worried about it. One thing Sean Payton is not is a liar. Now, NFL head coaches like to dumb down things a little bit. They like to, downgrade things and make it not so like this is breaking news. So maybe there's a little bit more to that than this, but I don't think so. I think when Sean Payton says something, I'm taking him at his word. So he's fine. And this rest and precaution right now is very good for Nik Bonitto. It's smart. You absolutely need to take care of your edge one, who, by the way, dominated against the San Francisco 49ers. So, again, this is some good stuff right now. I'm in a very, very good spot with what I feel about this Broncos defense. That is going to do it for us on today's episode. A reminder to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We did gain 404. YouTube purged us, so we're down to 224 after the live stream. So if you love Broncos football and free Broncos content, hit that subscribe button for me right now. My name is Moose. Until next time, be cool. Sweet. Sweet. We got a $5 super chat in the building from Mr. David T. Good afternoon, gang. Just got back from doctor's appointment. So do you think they'll keep 5 running backs? And who? Great question. That'll be something that we put on the mailbag as well. Thank you, David T. It's not unheard of to keep 5 running backs. Most teams keep 4. So I would expect the Broncos to do that. However, if they were to keep 5, let's do both. If they're keeping 4, it's Dobbins, it's Harvey, it's Badie, and it's Jaleel. If it's 5, it's Dobbins, it's Harvey, it's Badie, it's Jaleel, and it's Blake Watson. I think Audric Estime is the odd man out right now. It's just where I'm at. He's clearly fallen down the RB depth chart ranks. And that's not my opinion. Like, can we all agree with that? Like, he has. He was like the 5th running back to get in against the 49ers. We saw Jaleel before him, Harvey before him, even J.K. Dobbins got in on a passing play. Badie was in there way before him. Badie rocked out, balled out. And even Blake Watson looked really well. Blake Watson looked like a dual threat. Had a couple of really nice catches as well. But thank you, David T. I appreciate that. By the way, you are now, I believe, 2nd place for our YouTube's top fan, which will, at least right now, get you in to that John Elway laser autographed jersey raffle giveaway at the end of the month. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, my friend. Bossman says, Jaleel can get us the most capital, and Badie and Watson just cannot be let go. Out of all of the players that have the most trade value, of the players that could be traded, right? Because, like, J.K. Dobbins would clearly have the most. Same with R.J. Harvey. But we're not trading either of those guys. So let's just talk about the trade value for players that could be traded. It's definitely Jaleel. It's definitely Jaleel. But I also think Jaleel can make some waves right now as a special teams player. You'll find that out coming here in our cut candidates video. There's some momentum with Jaleel becoming a special teams player. Maybe a kick returner. Maybe a punt returner. But I feel like that's Marvin Mims' job. He's got that locked up. He's definitely got that locked up. But kick returning, I absolutely could see it. Okay. Let's see what else everybody's saying. I'll answer a couple more questions, then we'll get started on our cut candidates. He said, just wait until the receivers get their timing together. AFC West is in trouble. Michael's in the chat. What up, Michael? Good to see you, buddy. Derek saying, as soon as it's mid-season, don't change your mind, boss man. We will set it look great. Michael says, pay Nik Bonitto. I'm just reading your comments here, guys. That's all. A lot of people getting in there. Devontae saying it's 4. It's preseason. Our play calls were very mid. Not going to be like that week 1. I mean, I agree with your take of 4. You know, not being super, not being concerned, right? But I also think that Sean, and Sean Payton said this, he was very, very disappointed and kind of pissed off about how the starters played. So I don't know that it was so much the play calling. I feel like the Broncos weren't prepared for what the 49ers were there to do. And the 49ers definitely came out with an hyper-aggressive game plan. They blitzed constantly. Robert Saleh came out with an unreal, I mean, he was doing safety blitzes preseason week 1. He was not playing around. Costin says, what's your take on Trent Sherfield? He played outstanding. Outstanding. That catch that he had from Jarrett Stidham was next level. I think he's had a great training camp. I think his preseason week 1, he was definitely one of my winners. I can't wait to see more of him. I think he's absolutely making a case for wide receiver 5 or wide receiver 6. Desiree Desire Best says, hey, Moose, haven't been in a stream since Petey left. Let's have a good season. It's good to see you, my friend. Thanks for joining today. All right. So next up, we've got cut candidates after the 49ers game. So essentially what I did is I went back and I looked at all the tape. I did my homework. and I highlighted 5 players that I believe are in danger of getting cut based off of the performances during the 49ers game. So 5 players that could be in danger of losing a spot on the 53-man roster. And I feel like these are safe picks, but also they don't come without their performances. So these aren't just like chalk picks. Excuse me. You might make that a little bit bigger, Daly? Appreciate that. These aren't just like chalk picks. These are my viewings of how everybody played, their current spot on the depth chart, and just kind of the overall momentum towards that ultimate conclusion, if that makes sense. So we're going to get into cut candidates here in just a second as producer Dylan works through the kinks right now. Desire says, thoughts on if Pat Bryant or Troy Franklin will have a better season? As of right now, it's Troy Franklin. The dude's been balling out. I mean, he's had the best training camp of any Bronco. It's not close. And Pat Bryant's had a very good training camp. But every single practice, Troy Franklin touchdown, Troy Franklin big play, Troy Franklin looked great. Routes got better. Routes got cleaner. I mean, he could be the breakout player for the Broncos this year. Just got to make sure those hands are still reliable. All right. Looks like everybody's getting their questions in. Keep spamming. Make sure that chat rate keeps going high, and we will get into our cut candidates video after the 49ers game. Whenever you're ready, Dilly. You're fine. Sorry about this, everybody. All right. Should be ready to go now. Sweet. Awesome. Coming at you. Cut candidates after the 49ers game. Preseason week 1 is officially in the books, and that means we got to talk about some cut candidates. 5 players on either side of the football that I believe are in danger of losing a roster spot based off of their performance, their spot on the depth chart, and the overall trajectory towards my ultimate conclusion. Welcome in Broncos country to the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Moose, and yes, we are going to talk about some cut candidates before the Cardinals game. And let me just ask you, let me get it out of the way. Quick, to the point, nice and easy. Name a player you think should get cut. Right now, I want to hear it. I'm not going to give you my answers because I've got those 5 players that I'm going to talk about here in just a second. Either way, you let me know right off the bat in the comment section down below. First player, Clay Webb. I'm not going to lie. It was not good. It was a bad performance. He looked lost out there at times. His run blocking was terrible. His PFF grade was awful. It was in the low 30s, and he got dominated by that 49ers defensive line, which was comprised of 4th and 5th stringers. And he did better in pass protection, but he got bailed out multiple times by his other offensive linemen, meaning an offensive lineman would end up picking up a chip block and making sure that Stidham and Ehlinger were a little bit more comfortable inside the pocket. Outside of that, it was an awful game. Like, period, point blank. And I feel bad saying that because we talked a lot about Clay Webb being one of the UDFAs that could end up making this team. But based off of what I saw, he's not ready. And this Broncos offensive line depth chart, I'm not going to lie to you. There's plenty of other players that played way better than he did. So unless he absolutely goes out and kills it, like, my message to him is you really have to ball out to make this team, my man. That's just the truth. And again, anything's possible. I'm not saying that it's going to happen. It's not definitive, right? It's not etched in stone. But it was not pretty. In fact, that was one of the major takeaways after watching the film. I was like, oh, Clay Webb does not look good. So I'll ask you this question. Will Clay Webb make the 53-man roster? Yes or no? As of right now, I'm saying no. But if you believe differently than me, and that's fine, at least defend your answer down in the comment section down below. Clay Webb, in my opinion, Not going to make it. Another player that's in danger of getting cut was, of course, wide receiver / special teams player Courtney Jackson. I feel like there were a couple moments where I felt like, okay, he showed a little bit here, a little bit there. But for the most part, it wasn't that great. His PFF grade, which again is not the Holy Bible, but it does give you an indication of how a player performed, his was also really bad, in the mid to upper 40s. Here's another thing you need to know. There's a lot of special teamers ahead of him. Marvin Mims, Jaleel McLaughlin, who got in on some kickoff returns. Tyler Badie and even Michael Bandy are listed ahead of him on the Broncos depth chart right now in terms of special teams. That's not even mentioning the wide receivers. So Courtney Jackson, unfortunately, I just don't see him making this team. I feel like there's plenty of talent that the Broncos already have put in place that just kind of proves that he's, not good enough. And that's okay. Also feels like an easy choice. So this is probably my biggest chalk pick out of everything, right? Again, I take no pleasure in saying all of this, right? Like, this is my job. I've got to do this. So if you guys think that I have a personal vendetta against these players, I don't. It's just how I see things happening. And that's just my take on Courtney Jackson. I don't think he's good enough to make the team. Join us for this Cardinals watch party that we've got coming up here on Saturday. Late kickoff, 8:30 p.m., which means we're going live at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. So if you want to hang out with me and the rest of Broncos country, hit subscribe, click that bell notification, and join us on Saturday. My third cut candidate, a player that actually scored, Caden Prieskorn. Look, he had a nice play. Touchdown catch, 1 reception for 7 yards. I'm glad he found the end zone. It was a cool moment for the young man. But make no mistake about it. There's plenty of other tight ends that are way better than he is, period. I mean, Evan Engram being your number one, Troutman, Kroll, the list goes on. I just don't think he's going to make this spot. Nate Adkins as well. So the one name that I'm going to throw out on there that you guys didn't see a lot of against the 49ers was Caleb Lohner. I still believe in Caleb Lohner's freakish athleticism. He played 18 snaps against the 49ers, didn't do much, but I'm still not ready to give up on Caleb Lohner quite yet. I think you can't teach 6'7". You can't teach the ability to jump through the gym. You can teach football vernacular. You can teach football IQ. You can scheme him. You can help him understand how to get better at this football game. So this one, though, I will say is kind of fluid for me. Because if Caleb Lohner doesn't do anything this preseason, you might have to take another look at it. And if Caden Prieskorn goes out and actually shows he's, kind of okay and having a better preseason than Caleb Lohner, then sure, I can flip-flop these two. But as of right now, this moment, at the time of this recording, I'm not quite ready yet to give up on Caleb Lohner. So I have Caden Prieskorn getting cut. Sam Franklin Jr. is my next guy. This was a free agent that the Broncos signed a couple of months back, if I'm remembering correctly. It was right when I started producing for the Broncos, believe it or not. He's a free safety from Carolina. He had 1 tackle against the 49ers, but for the most part, just kind of floated, didn't really do much. And with how good of a bunch of other players looked, a.k.a. J.L. Skinner, I don't think he's going to have a spot. I think there's a lot of really good talent in this Broncos secondary, not only at corner, but at safety alike. And there is just way too much depth on this defense to keep everyone. We can all agree on that. Someone has to separate themselves. And some float back into the ether. And Sam Franklin Jr. is one of those players that just floated back into the ether. So if I look at the likes of a guy like J.L. Skinner, I mean, forget about the starters. Brandon Jones and Talanoa Hufanga are easily your 1 and 2. And hell, even P.J. Locke has locked up that third one. Devin Key, believe it or not, played well. And he's higher on the depth chart. J.L. Skinner got involved. There's plenty of players that are making their names known in this preseason. Franklin wasn't one of them. So, again, like I said, I'm going to go back to that original take that I had. There's just way too much depth. And you can't keep everyone. So someone has to separate. Others just float back. Maybe he has a couple better games, and maybe he establishes himself with a little bit more competition. But right now, Sam Franklin Jr., you're on the outskis, my friend. Last but not least, Tyrese Rowan. I had to throw another wide receiver on this list. Again, you got to be able to separate yourself. 7 snaps only, 1 target, no receptions. A lot of these players you're going to see are just fighting to make a roster spot. Because the Broncos wide receiver room, in my opinion, it's kind of solidified. Can we all agree these 6 are definite locks to make the team? Right? I think this is a pretty good 6. That's just my opinion. So, majority of the wide receivers that are kind of rounding out the depth chart, I don't see them making a whole lot of moves, especially considering every single one of these players. I mean, we don't have to talk about Cortland Sutton. We knew this. But, Devon Vele had a catch. We know Marvin Mims is going to be a stud. Pat Bryant played well. Trent Sherfield played outstanding. So, the guys that are, bottom of the starting wide receivers, like wide receiver 5, wide receiver 6, they're making big plays during the preseason. Other guys like Tyrese Rowan are just fighting to get onto the field. So there's tiers to this. There's levels. And I just don't think he gets to that tier. So all 5 of those players feel like easy cut candidates at least right now. But grade my cut list. I want to know. Specifically give me a grade. If you think they suck, that's fine. Let me know. Give me an F. But tell me why. If you think they're great, shower me with praise. I'm kidding. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know in the comment section down below. That is going to do it for us on today's episode. A reminder to subscribe and join our watch party on Saturday. Like the video if you haven't already. And as always, Broncos country, be cool. Sweet. What do you guys think? How do you like my, can you throw up that grade my cut list one real quick? Appreciate that. Grade my cut list. What'd you think? Joshua says pretty good cut list, I think, Moose. Appreciate that, my friend. David T says Mathis is history. Damari Mathis? I thought he played okay. Let me check out his stats real quick and how he did. I've got everything pulled up right here. Damari. He got a tackle. Just one, though. Jordan Jackson led the Broncos in tackles. Keidron Smith came in second. And then there was J.L. Skinner, who played great. God, he was good. Desire says, if you need more, Mathis and Estime should be locks. Locks to make the roster or locks to get cut? Josh says A. Brendan says A. Costin says A. Craig getting in. What's up, buddy? Awesome stuff. We got 51 people still in the building. Probably a good time to throw up one more time, Dilly, before we get into our mailbag. What they could win if they get in the top 3 for our live stream today. If you want to throw up that L3 as well, explaining that, that'd be perfect. Dilly does a great job on the 1s and 2s. By the way, my friends, he's awesome. So let's take a look. If you become a top 3 fan today, meaning if you get one of those little crowns next to your name, you'll be entered to win this John Elway jersey, laser autographed, that we're giving away at the end of the month. So the end of August, that last live stream that we do, we will make sure to give this away. And it will look very sweet in your man cave. The only way that you can do so is to keep on commenting and build those XP points like, you have been doing. Or you send in a super chat, and that just skyrockets you all the way up the leaderboard. Even a $5 super chat right now would be massive for you. It would build your XP through the roof. So, if you want to get in on the top 3, let's take a look at the top 3, by the way. I know that Bossman Jay is in at number 1 right now, and it's not close. But we can take a look at who's in second and third and give you guys a little bit better of an idea as to how you can enter to win this jersey. Boss Man, number 1, booyah. David coming in at number 2, and then Archie Blue is in at number 3. Bang, 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 Archie Blue. So remember, if you want to solidify that spot or if you want to steal it from someone else, best way to do that is to send in a super chat. Thank you guys so much for everything you do to support this channel. I greatly appreciate it. Okay, how many questions do we have, Dilly, locked and loaded for our Broncos mailbag? It's from the what? Let's ask a bunch of guys right now to get in and use hashtag Broncos to get your questions answered. Use hashtag Broncos. We need some questions for our mailbag. If you want to be on an episode of Broncos Breakdown, make sure you use hashtag Broncos. It'll get sent into our system, and Dilly will feature you. We did get a $5 super chat, though, from our guy, Costin. Costin coming in with the 4.99. That gets us up to $60 today. Appreciate that, my friend. Costin didn't say anything, but he definitely knew what he was doing. Trying to steal that third spot. Archie Blue, it's on you now, my guy. Costin, thank you so much for supporting the channel, my friend. I appreciate it. Ain't nobody catching the boss man, says David T. Boss man's a legit one, dude. He wants that jersey. I can tell you that right now. Remember to use hashtag Broncos to get in on the show. We need a couple of more questions from people. We got 62 people watching. If you could get your questions in so that they're not all from the same people, that would be great. That would be great. There we go. Desire getting in, Jacob getting in, Brendan getting in. Thank you. There we go. You guys are killing it now. Archie said, not happening, little bro. What's up? Ty. It's 3rd and 2. Which? Ooh, I love that question from Ty. Ooh. Good question. Good stuff. Keep going. Let's get a couple more in here. Let's get like 3 or 4 more questions in here, and then we'll start. 3 or 4 more questions, and we will start. Make sure everything looks ship shape. Bang, bang. Tony says, who cuts your hair? My barber. My barber. Costin coming in good. Terry Tucker. Okay, I think we've got enough. I think we're good. Appreciate it, my friends. Thank you so much for getting in on the show. Actually, Devontae, it's not. He said it himself. It's bidet. All right, we got a bunch of them there right now. We're good. Ooh. Let's answer that one real quick, and then we'll start it. Shout out to Boss Man Jay's wife coming in with the $10 super chat. That's awesome. She had to get in on it. You know she did. Had to keep her title. Appreciate that. You're a real one. Boss Man Jay's wife coming in with the $10 banger. Hi, Moose. Got to keep up with my husband. Hashtag Broncos Unchained. Watch the podcast. You heard it here first, folks. Listen to Boss Man Jay's wife. It's actually slap yourself. Oh, no, that's not. That's the wrong one. But, yeah, there we go. There she is, Boss Man Jay's wife. Bang. Shout out to Boss Man Jay's wife. Big shout out. All right, let's do it. Let's get into our mailbag. All right, let's do it. Let's get into our mailbag episode of Broncos Breakdown here on the channel. 63 people watching. Appreciate you sticking around. Let's do it. Welcome in, Broncos country, to the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports, to our mailbag episode, which airs on our live show every single Tuesday at 4 p.m. Central Time. Before we get started, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up icon. It helps grow the channel. We are well on our way to 39,000 subscribers, and I could not do it without all of you. David T. coming in with our very first question. Good afternoon, gang. Just got back from the doctor's appointment. Nice. So who do you think do you think they'll keep 5 running backs, and who? Great question. It's not uncommon to keep 5 running backs on a depth chart. However, I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm going to answer both questions. I'm going to do a 4 running back system and a 5 running back system. The 4, if they were to keep 4, would be J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey, Jaleel McLaughlin and Tyler Badie. If they kept 5, as of right now, in my opinion, it'd be J.K. Dobbins, it'd be R.J. Harvey, Jaleel, Tyler Badie, and Blake Watson. I think Audric Estime is the odd man out right now. Appreciate your $5 super chat. Desire, do you think this year's defense will match the Super Bowl 50 defense? I sure hope so. From a talent perspective, I think it can. I think this defense has so much cohesion, and it works so well together. And Vance Joseph has clearly gotten the most out of all of these players. I absolutely think that this year's secondary will be astonishing. The pass rush we know is already great. The thing that it's going to come down to is that middle linebacker room. If they can stay healthy and they can keep that middle of the field blanketed, look out, because there are studs everywhere on this defense. I'm really looking forward to seeing it. Thank you so much for asking your question. Michael, Nik Bonitto made the NFL top 100 players of 2025 at number 38. Pay that man. Absolutely. How much are you going to pay him? That depends. How quickly do you want to get a deal done? So I agree with you. They need to pay him right now. Right now, I would say somewhere around that 4-year, $100 million range. I mean, the dude's an absolute animal. So it's just going to depend on when the Broncos decide to pay him, because that price could go up, 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 up. Appreciate you, though, Michael, getting on the show. Joshua, with Slater out for the season, Rashawn Slater, left tackle for the Los Angeles Chargers, how much better do we feel about playing and beating the Chargers? Well, I'll say this. One player does not make a team. However, he was their best offensive lineman. So it definitely feels better for the Broncos' defensive line, which then could get more pressure on Justin Herbert, leading to more errant throws and sacks. So it is, I don't want to say good news, because you never want to celebrate an injury. But for the Broncos' case, it definitely makes it a lot easier. So I was never really that concerned about the Chargers. I feel like they're a nice opponent to go up against. They're not the most fearsome team. But this definitely does make it a little bit easier. Thanks, Joshua, for getting on the show. I appreciate you. You're a real one. Speaking of real ones, Danny, Moose, do you anticipate the starters getting reps in all 3 preseason games? I'm going to the Saints game next week and hope to see the starters and R.J. Harvey. Go Broncos. I think it all depends on how the starters play this week against the Cardinals. The reason I say that is because if the first-team offense goes out and absolutely blows everyone out of the water, I could see Sean Payton saying, we're going to rest everyone for that final preseason game and just see the depth players get one more shot. But if last week was any indication, I think it's very possible that you could see the starters play at least a drive or 2 against the Saints. So I hope that answers your question. Either way, Danny, you are a real one. Always have been. Thanks for getting on the show. Ty, it's 3rd and 2. Which RB do we have? That's a better choice than Estime in that situation. So I'm assuming you mean to get a first down. J.K. Dobbins, period. I mean, that's not really a question. I also think Badie. I mean, he was awesome. Like, not only did he show his ability to jump cut, do it east to west, but he has got a lot more power than a lot of people give him credit for. And if it wasn't for the injury last year, he was playing really well. I think you could absolutely see Tyler Badie carve out a really nice role for himself in this Broncos running back room. Appreciate you getting on the show. BN4L. Bo Nix for life. I like that. Is Bo Nix in danger of losing his job? No, he's not. I'll play along with you for a second. I guess, every question deserves an answer. No, he's not. I get it. Jarrett Stidham played great. And he deserves a lot of credit for going out against 4th and 5th string players and carving them up. That's what he should do. And Bo Nix didn't play very well. So let's talk about Stidham for a second, because he's the only one that, could end up taking Bo's job theoretically. He was 14 of 15 for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think he's absolutely showing that he's a very, very good emergency backup quarterback. If Bo had to miss a game or had a really awful half or had to go out for a couple plays to get evaluated, Jarrett Stidham could come in and hold his own. I think that's what we have seen. And Bo didn't play well, but reminder, this is the Broncos franchise quarterback. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about Bo's talent. Like, it was one preseason game and one slow start. He's going to be just fine. So should Jarrett Stidham take over as QB1? No. And if you say yes, you must be a huge Jarrett Stidham fan or a troll. Either way, let me know in the comment section down below. It's a big, resounding hell no. Let's move on to some more questions and then talk about our sponsor and then wrap up today's show. Kenneth Bennett coming in. Who do you think will be wide receiver 2 and wide receiver 3? My thoughts are Franklin and Mims. Yeah, those are probably your best bets for wide receiver 2 and wide receiver 3. Later on in the season, depending on how well he plays, keep an eye on Pat Bryant. He's had a great camp, played pretty well in that first preseason game. I think he can be a stud sooner rather than later. But for the first half of the season, yeah, it's going to be Mims and it's going to be Franklin. It's going to be Cortland, Mims, Franklin. Those are your big 3, if you want to call them that, for the Broncos wide receivers. Appreciate it. Jacob, what's the percentage chance that the Broncos win the division? Right now, 50-50? Maybe a little bit higher than that? I mean, I think it all depends on how you view the Chiefs, right? I don't think the Chargers are going to get it done, considering they lost their left tackle for the entire season. Like, he's done. So 50-50 right now? I feel like it's a pretty good spot. Obviously, you're going to have to wait and see during the regular season, because that's when it matters. So ask me that question week 4 or week 5, and I'll have a better answer for you. Let's get 2 more in here. Say hello to our sponsor, or let's get this one sponsor, and then answer out with one more question, and then we'll be good to go. Boss Man, big fan of the show. Hot take. Chris Abrams-Drain moves to CB2 over Moss. I like where your head's at. I don't think it happens. But Chris Abrams-Drain has been playing really well. He played well against the 49ers, granted against the 3rd string and 4th string quarterback. But he's been playing well. I don't think it happens, and we can disagree on that. However, I like where your thinking is going. It shows that you're definitely keeping track with all of the players that are playing well. So I appreciate your question, and even though I say no, it's good to ask the question. Before we end today's show, a reminder that Bo Nix jerseys are for sale right now. Just go to chatsports.com/NixJersey. Use the link that I've put in the comments and description of today's video. Made it super simple for you. Click that link and get your Bo Nix jersey today. But it's not just Nix jerseys. You can get whatever you want over there. You can get this, by the way, in orange or white if you so choose. Just go to chatsports.com/NixJersey if you are going to shop today. Terry, last question. Is there a reason to be concerned about Nix and the offense? I kind of just answered that question with the Jarrett Stidham thing, but no, there's not, at least right now. It's the preseason. That's what it's for, working out the kinks. Sean Payton said that he was upset and disappointed in how slow they started. So that leads me to believe he's not worried about the offense, but he's maybe thinking like, we can't be nearly as flat-footed as we were. We have to be prepared for everything. And they were not prepared for how aggressive and stout that 49ers defense was going to be straight out of the gate. And that's just the truth. Either way, thanks for getting in on the show, Terry. I appreciate it. That's going to do it for us on today's mailbag episode. Thanks for getting your questions in. A reminder to subscribe if you haven't. And as always, be cool. Sweet. Good show, everyone. Good show, everyone. Thanks for sticking around. All right. I'll give you guys, let's give them 5 more minutes, Dilly, to get their last-minute Super Chats in before we mark down who our top 3 winners are. And then I'll enter you guys into the John Elway raffle ticket giveaway, and we'll say goodbye. Do 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 do. Ooh, David did get in on a super chat, by the way. It didn't use hashtag Broncos, but let's put him up on screen real quick. I don't want to ignore any of our important fans. What is going on with my computer right now? Good Lord. It's going ballistic. And just like that, we got a new ball game in our hands. I'm going to answer David's question first. Do you think that they will keep Mims as our kick returner and punt returner? I do. I think he was too good at that last year, and I think there's a reason ESPN rated him the #1 gadget player in the NFL. He's just too good at doing everything. But Michael Ronquillo coming in with the DB4L bang! $50 super chat, getting us over $100. And my man, Michael, has just opened the race one more time. Big time super chat. Great show today, Moose. Go Broncos. Go Bo Broncos. Michael, you're a real one, my friend. Thank you so much. You're a legend. Everybody spam those Michaels down in the chat below. And just like that, we've got a brand new race. Boss man Jay squeaking by in the lead, followed by Michael, who's only a couple hundred points behind him, and then David coming in third. Those 3 as of right now, let's put that 5 clock on there real quick, Dilly, because we didn't put that on yet. Once we start this 5-minute clock, that will be the end of it. That's when we're going to say bye-bye. That's when we'll say bye-bye. But that's crazy. What a super chat. Thank you, Michael. You're a real one. Tearing it up for sure. David getting in there, giving praise and props to him. Absolutely. I love that you guys are good sports about this, too. It's awesome stuff to see. I love it. All right. 6 minutes, and we'll end it. It'll end on 1 hour and 15 minutes into our live stream, which is a pretty normal show for a Tuesday live show. Appreciate you, Michael. Who's going to do it? Keep getting your questions in. I'll answer questions as long as we've got this Super Chat countdown clock on. Keep asking your questions. Keep asking your questions. Don't you worry about it. You're the man. Who do you want to see? Let me ask you this question for everybody still watching, rocking with us. Who do you want to see have a better game besides Bo? Because we obviously know. Let's talk about a player that maybe wants to build off a little bit more success, or maybe someone who played poorly. Who do you want to see have a standout game against the Cardinals? Do you think Jahdae Barron wins Defensive Rookie of the Year? Definitely a possibility. He's got the talent to do it. He had a massive tackle in that 49ers game where he just kind of like grabbed his defender. The offensive receiver caught the ball and tried to break down Jahdae, like kind of break him down. And Jahdae didn't bite on it at all. He just kind of grabbed him and threw him to the ground. Just made him look like a rag doll. I didn't realize just how strong Jahdae Barron looked. Josh says Rashee Rice is set to be suspended for the beginning of the season. Does that hurt the Chiefs enough to pull ahead? Well, duh. I think it does, because last year, the Broncos should not have lost to the Chiefs. The blocked field goal, you guys remember that? I know you do. I was calling that game. I was like, you have got to be kidding me. I couldn't believe it. The Broncos should have swept the Chiefs last year. Now, you could also make the argument that the Chiefs played their backups in that Week 17 matchup, so, potato. But at the same time, I think the Broncos definitely can beat the Chiefs. Absolutely. The Chiefs are not a team that I feel is so formidable this year. I don't see them being a single win over 11 wins. I think they regress. I really do. I think the holes have been exposed on the Kansas City Chiefs. Travis Kelce's not the same player. Rashee Rice is suspended for the beginning of the season. He's going to have to work his way back in. Who's their best weapon right now? Xavier Worthy? Who's not Tyreek Hill? Hollywood Brown? Maybe. Desire says, the way the Chiefs won last year, oh my goodness. It happened again. Bossman Jay's wife with a DB4L bang! And just like that, she's back in the game. Whoa. Y'all are crazy, man. Crazy. Dude. On a Tuesday, Dylan. On a freaking Tuesday. And there's still a minute 50 left. But we'll get that super chat up on screen here for you in just a second. Bossman Jay's wife can't get knocked out. Nor did she. Laying the lumber. Kaboom! Appreciate it, Bossman Jay's wife. I'm telling you, they want that John Elway jersey. They need that John Elway jersey. Let's take a look at our updated leaderboard as soon as it gets refreshed, because YouTube doesn't automatically refresh it. I don't get that. Oh, yeah. There it is. There it is. Bossman Jay's wife. And then Bossman Jay. And then Michael. Top three. So the only one as of right now in the next 58 seconds that is going to be re-entered into it, because Bossman Jay and Bossman Jay's wife are already in, is Michael. But as of right now, Bossman Jay and Bossman Jay's wife are in a firm and commanding lead. That's crazy stuff, man. Y'all are wicked, and I love it. I appreciate everything you guys do. That's huge stuff. All right. We're losing our view count here, so we will say goodbye as soon as this super chat countdown, unless there's another major super chat. And if one comes in, we got to bang with it, Dylan. The country has to bang. 10 seconds. Does Michael come back with a Hail Mary attempt? 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't think it's going to happen. That's okay. Unbelievable performance from everybody that joined in today. Awesome job. All right, so I'm going to put in Michael real quick. Michael is in. See you, David. Thank you so much for joining us today, my guy. I appreciate that. Can you... Let me grab this real quick from him, and then we will... Do you have his handle? Yes. Can you send it to me? Thank you. Just send that to me over Slack, and I'll put that in real quick. Okay. As soon as Dylan's done doing that, we're going to say goodbye. You guys were awesome. You made $175 on today's show. That's amazing stuff. Last-minute thoughts here about the Denver Broncos. Don't panic. It's all going to be good. This team is really good. Bo Nix is really good. We're going to be good. Sean Payton's an excellent coach. This defense is insane. We've got players that are on the up and coming. I think everyone just panics a little bit once they see the results that they didn't necessarily want to see. Myself included. That's just part of being a fan, right? Fan is short for fanatic. We love this team. We're excited about this team. We're passionate about this 2025 season, which starts up in, 3 weeks. So I can't wait. You can't wait. Let's have a great 2025 season. That is going to do it for us on today's live show. A reminder to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. My friends, it was great hanging out with you. I will be back on Saturday for that watch party against the Arizona Cardinals. As always, be cool.